Going into this, where would you have thought Tennessee's quarterback situation ranked in the SEC? Without looking, which I know you've looked.
Yeah, I would have said middle of the pack. I would have said like in the 6 to 8 range, probably.
Okay. Here we go. 4 downs brought to you by Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Hey, look at me. No contacts, no glasses. That's because I got LASIK. You can get LASIK for Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn, and know that they are local doctors who care about you. I love it. Got a checkup this week, and I'm good to go. And it's fantastic. They also do cataract surgery, and they have local vision repair, local vision assistance and care that is absolutely top of the Knoxville market or elsewhere. And don't forget, some other places are flying doctors in to perform the surgery, so you don't really get to know them. All right, so 4 downs. The worst quarterback situation in the SEC is...
This is easy. It's easy, and Brad Crawford of 247 Sports said it, but I would have said it whether or not he said it. It's Florida. They're a disaster right now. They're in serious trouble.
Well, they're dead last on this ranking, and I agree with you. I think they thought Anthony Richardson would come back. Graham Mertz is the guy. It's hard to say that what I would consider a somewhat of a blue blood, at least good since the early 90s, in Florida or a Tennessee or an Alabama or really any of the top half traditional schools in the SEC would have the worst quarterback in the SEC, but I think that's exactly what we're staring at right now. So who has the best quarterback situation in the SEC before we get to this list?
I'm going to say, and you're going to say I love them. You're just going to accuse me of being a fan, but I'm going to say it's LSU. It's LSU easily. I'm not a huge fan of Jaden Daniels, but I think another year in Brian Kelly's offense I think he can do whatever Golson did at Notre Dame.
I think it's very close between LSU and Arkansas. I will take KJ Jefferson just barely, but no, I don't disagree with you strongly on that at all. So best quarterback situation, you go with LSU, I go with Arkansas. Bama's quarterback situation currently will cost it blank number of games.
Ooh, this is where things get fun. Okay. They get a lot of fun. So I'm not going to say Texas because Texas has its own terrible quarterback situation. So I think Alabama beats Texas by default. But I think it cost them against... I'm going to say it cost them against LSU. I'm going to say it cost them against Tennessee. 2 home games.
All right, so he's picking Tennessee over Alabama already in April. I will say I don't know the games, but I think it cost Alabama 2 games because I thought last year that was a 9, maybe a 10-win sort of team that overachieved because of their quarterback. So it would be hypocritical for me to say that Bryce Young brought that much to the team, and now that he's gone, they don't lose that much. So I'll say 2 games, but I'm not going to specify who it is. Question.
Oh, wait, here's one. Let's go here. I'm going here. Hot take has already said they're scary for Tennessee. Kentucky. They play Kentucky on the road right after Tennessee and LSU.
Fair. 4th down, same question for Georgia. Georgia's quarterback situation will cost it blank number of games. Let's hear from you on the message board with Bama and Georgia as well. KJ Jefferson is a glorified fullback. There's a lot of truth to that. All right. So what do you got on this one?
I think Georgia's QB situation could cost it 1 game. The break for Georgia and Alabama that we're not seeing this year, and I will say this is the one thing in Alabama's favor, is their tough games are at home this year. Georgia really doesn't have any tough games, okay? Outside of Tennessee, Tennessee's the only tough team they play all year. They play Auburn on the road, but I think Auburn they weren't happy about their QB play in their spring game, so I think Hugh Freeze is going to have at least 1 down year before things get going.
New listeners, hit that like button, the thumbs up button. The answer is 0. Georgia is so good at this point, they could have Greg McElroy run out there, and I choose him for a very specific reason. He was an average quarterback at Alabama. They had an average quarterback at times with Stetson Bennett, who I thought really elevated his game last year, but they still won with an average quarterback. They'll still win this year. So they might lose a game, but I don't think it's going to be because of the quarterback situation.
At least Greg McElroy knew he was average and respected his position, unlike his successor, A.J. McCarron, who thought he was the superstar of superstars. And I'm sorry. I have nothing nice to say about
You have issues with AJ McCarron like Brent Musburger has issues with his girlfriend. No, I think that's fair. AJ McCarron kind of accepted that role as caretaker and tried to elevate it to being a superstar. The simple fact is you're not necessarily a superstar just because you're the quarterback at Alabama. You might be a caretaker, and chances are until the last until Jalen Hurts, you have been a caretaker, right?
I think it.
Jalen Hurts, then it goes to Tua.
I would say Jalen Hurts. You're right, and quite honestly, well, Mac Jones was a caretaker to a degree. Let's be honest. Most of Alabama wins not. Think about this. This is actually a great point you brought up. Nick Saban's best quarterbacks have not won national championships. Bryce Young didn't win one. Jalen Hurts technically didn't win one because he was pulled during the national title game. Tua Tagovailoa didn't start the whole season and win it. He came in the second half. None of the non-caretaker quarterbacks have started a full season and won a national title for Alabama.
It's interesting. Small column there, perhaps. Tennessee's quarterback situation, for the record, where did it ranked among the SEC? Tennessee's quarterback situation you predicted was middle of the pack, and here's where they actually stand. My goodness, if I can pull it up, having some of the fun computer issues. So where is Tennessee's? Oh, number 4, Joe Milton at Tennessee. And this is the mistake that I think these lists make, is they just point out one guy. It's Joe Milton and Nico. Okay. So if you want to say that Carson Beck at Georgia and Jaden Daniels at LSU and KJ Jefferson are more established and better than Tennessee, yes, I would take that. But I would believe that and I'd buy that. But would I take Joe Milton and Nico over Carson Beck? Yeah, I would. Would I take them over Jaden Daniels, KJ Jefferson? Yeah, I would. The upside potential, I would take them over these teams that are listed ahead of them in Tennessee in at 4th, which is not too shabby.
Dave, it's so funny you say that because me and my brother were having a conversation over the weekend. Bleacher Report had a really stupid post. It was the dumbest post ever. And it was, you're starting an NFL team in your prime. Who are you taking? And it had Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, and Megatron. You take Peyton Manning because you take the top 15 quarterbacks before you ever take another player if you're starting an NFL franchise.
Maybe top 50.
Yeah, maybe top 50. My brother and I actually had a point. It's like, not only would I take a quarterback first, I might take a top 50 quarterback second before I take anybody else. I might rather have 2 top 50 quarterbacks before I have anybody else at any other position in football at that point.
Now, and I know we're going to talk about this at the draft, but in your history of covering Tennessee football, what's the non-quarterback that you would take as the highest pick if we were holding a Vols draft?
I mean,
I think this is too easy.
It's Reggie White, isn't it?
See, I was going to say Al Wilson from a leadership standpoint.
Oh, true. If you can't project, Al Wilson would have been a Hall of Famer if not for that neck injury, because he was a multi-time Pro Bowler and just had his career cut short. But yeah, if you can't project a neck injury, then yeah, it's Al Wilson easily. We forget how good he was when he played in Denver, by the way.
Oh yeah, he was very good. Hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate that. Portions of the program brought to you by Craft Treats. Go to crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook. That's the promo code Off the Hook and get 20% off any of their fantastic treats. That includes the chill pills with CBD in there. So they'll help with your pet's digestive issues. They'll also help with your pet's arthritis issues. How about social anxiety? Got a lot of that out there with pets. So they'll help with car ride anxiety and the whole 9 yards. So you need to go to crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook, and you can take care of your pet with some great holistic medication. It is absolutely awesome. They've got other treats as well.